This is football primetime. Back. We are back. Football is back. Game time is about to start. 8:15 Eastern Time. Lions at Chiefs. Game one of the regular season. Training camp has been great if you're a Jet fan. It's been not very good if you are a Chiefs fan. We'll get to that in a little bit. Guys, quickly. So my wife comes down. She just got home. She goes up to me and she goes, quickly before you start the pod, who do I start, Goff or Richardson? So fantasy football is also back. It's Jared Goff.
But that's a no-brainer right there.
Yeah,
I'm hoping you told her Goff.
Oh, I told her Jared Goff. Of course I did. But boys, it's going to be our third season doing this. AJ's third season. My fourth. Yep. Brett, first season. Obviously did the draft show with us. And he is a horrendous Pittsburgh Steelers fan who resides in Colorado, so he can tell us how good Russell Wilson and how many babies he's shaken out there. But
we're kissing you,
Brett. Obviously, welcome. Yeah, welcome to the show full time. We appreciate you being on with us. Why don't you give us the first little intro? What are you thinking about the season? What are you looking forward to? Let's hear a little bit.
This is going to be an interesting year. I thought, going into last season, we had so many of these top wide receivers moving teams, and there was a lot of questions to see kind of what was going to happen. This year, it's got a lot more continuity, not necessarily some big movers this year. I think there's going to be some teams that are going to be sneaky good. I got the Raiders as sneaky good this year. Don't be surprised.
Raiders?
Obviously, everyone is going to say that Jimmy G's not been able to do it, but what's been the one thing that Jimmy G's done everywhere he's been? It's win football games. And the Raiders weren't terrible last year. You got to like the upgrade going from, Carr to Jimmy G. I think it could be sneaky. Obviously, their worst part is they're probably in the toughest division in football. But,
also their head coach stinks.
The head coach is not great. He's a basket case. But, it's going to be an up and down year for a lot of teams. I'm ready to go. A lot of rookies I'm excited about. I want to see what Bijan Robinson has, see if he's real. I got dark horse rookie of the year, or not rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year candidate for me, Jordan Addison out of Minnesota.
Love it.
He's going to do great things there.
Absolutely.
I'm just excited in general. I'm ready to get this thing going.
So quickly, and this is more on the Raiders, what is happening with Chandler Jones? Something about he was away from camp for a little while. They said it was team said it was personal reasons, and then all of a sudden they send I was just reading about this. They send a crisis member to his home to see because he's deleting Instagram. What? I'm totally out of loop on this. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of questionable of what exactly is happening there, but it was sort of along the lines that he said he wasn't going to be showing up to camp for a couple days and decided that he didn't want to disclose the reason to the coach, which, I mean, imagine if your boss texted you and said, hey, are you coming to work tomorrow? And your reasoning was no, and I'm not telling you why. So some people were probably pretty upset about that. It's not a good look for kind of either sides. He's accusing them of basically being helicopter parents. And so, we'll see what happens here. It's not a good look for anyone, really. No. I mean, I have my personal grievances when it comes to not players having a voice, but when it comes to players not wanting to respect the rules of their organization. You are an employee. You do have to do what your boss says, but we don't have to go down that road. But yes, it is a very weird situation. Don't really know what's going on there.
Yeah. All right, AJ. So you're a shitty Packers fan, and they go ahead and they lose their star quarterback to my team, the Jets. And so are you going to jump back on the bandwagon and become a Jets fan again, or are you going to root for a team that has Jordan Love as their quarterback?
Let's be honest. Was I really ever off of it?
Oh, no, you were off of it. You became a Packers fan.
Oh, please. But that's only for through marriage that happened.
Oh. So what's your thoughts on the season coming up?
I mean, this is in all essence, right, his rookie season in a way, right? It's his, but also it's a prove it year for him, right? Yeah. He's been there for, was it 4 years now, right?
3. Wasn't he? I think this is his fourth full season. Yeah, going to be the start of his fourth, right? Yeah.
But it's he was drafted in the first round, right, to be the replacement of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Supposed to be the next, great thing for Green Bay. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily got all the weapons, right, that like Aaron Rodgers, didn't have back there. I don't think they do the greatest thing for him, right, with some of those wide receivers, young, good rookie wide receivers, but still young. So we'll see.
No, so
we'll
right, so
with what, fourth year for Jordan Love?
Yeah,
first year starting. How long's his leash?
They have to give him the whole year.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got to prove it this year.
Who do they have even behind? Right? Yeah, he literally has this year. That's it. Because if they don't see something with him, they're absolutely going to draft somebody. Because you sit someone. Sean Clifford is their backup quarterback. So
yeah,
he's got a full 17 slate, and that's going to be his prove it. A couple interesting players on that roster. Right? Obviously, everybody knows Christian Watson, very good wide receiver. Took that 4 touchdown game that he had last year was amazing. Yeah. They have 2 good running backs, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, so they're going to be able to hand the ball off to him. Jordan Love can run himself. Couple, late round guys, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, guys that they took in the draft that they like a lot. Luke Musgrave, who's a really good tight end. That so they have pieces. This is more pieces that they have around him than they did Aaron Rodgers for quite a while. I know Devontae Adams and stuff, but. And they might still have the best offensive line in football with the Packers. Bakhtiari, obviously, everybody knows. Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, John Runyon, Zach Tom. Like, these guys are really good players, and their defense is very underrated. I don't know that these guys will be a playoff team. They're going to be – it depends on, obviously, how Jordan Love plays. But the team that I think that comes out of this division is on our football team in 5 minutes, and that's the Detroit Lions. I think they win the division. We talk about Goff. He's a tremendous quarterback. He doesn't really get the play that I think he deserves. He's extremely good. He brings the Rams to the final. He loses. That was a tough, to the Patriots. It's a tough one in general. But you look at the team, and I do believe they're a playoff team. Some good running backs in there. Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, rookie. Wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown might be the next big wide receiver star you see in the NFL. Yeah. We know as fantasy players what everybody's projecting him for, but I actually think he takes that step in terms of an all-around football player, and is one of those guys you look at, and Jared Goff has to be just beaming from ear to ear. Sam Laporta at tight end. Jameson Williams when he gets back from suspension, which this guy just can't seem to get on the field. But they have a very good offensive line. Their defense is underrated. I do like the Detroit Lions. What do you guys think? And also, we'll go into this game a little bit, but your thoughts.
Go for it, AJ. What do you got?
All right. I like the Lions a lot, but I can't bet against Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. And I think him, along with adding Jordan Addison, Kirk Cousins, I know he gets a lot of flack, right, for not being the prime time
He's another one.
Quarterback.
He's like Goff.
But he's always steady. He is a steady guy. And having the tight end in TJ Hawkinson, their offense is scary good. And I think one of their only questions, right, is running back with Madison. Is he actually going to be the guy?
He's in the workforce. Yeah.
But I think the Vikings take that division.
So and I'll let you go, Brett, in a second. The only thing I have with that though is they won all these close games last year, and they were what they win, like 8 or 9 games of like less than 3 points. And there's the truth, right? That you have to learn how to win, and all these 3-point wins. That's very good for your future, but. Mm-hmm. That's also a flip of the coin the other way, where these other teteams. I mean, they come back from a 42-point deficit to Indianapolis Colts to win that crazy game last year. Let's see how they grow. I like O'Connell as a coach. Like you said, the weapons on offense are tremendous. Defense needs to get it going because that really was their Achilles heel last year. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm with Billy. I mean, it's going to be the Lions, and the reasoning is the Vikings had the most hollow record in the NFL last year. They were like the Cardinals from a couple years back when they went 13-4, because that's what the Vikings were last year, 13-4. Yeah. But they had a -3 point differential on the season.
Yeah,
They won
good stat.
13 games, but got outscored on the season. That shows you that that record could have easily been flipped and been 14-3 easily.
That's
So
true.
I mean, yeah, they were one score games, but I mean, we talk about it in the fantasy world, regression, right? Like there's no way they're going to have that record again in one score games. And if you actually look at the Lions point differential from last season, the Lions were plus 26. So the Lions were arguably the better team last year, just didn't show it in the win-loss column. And I think it's going to correct itself this year. I like the Lions to come out, especially love the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
Watch out. He's going to be killer. I would not be surprised if he basically runs David Montgomery off the field.
I think he is too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a couple of the teams in this division, right, and we're obviously talking about NFC right now. We'll get into the AFC in a little bit, but that North division, Chicago Bears. We'll see how Justin Fields kind of goes out and has his third year in the league. I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't know that the passing's there, and that's where Chicago's really going to be their Achilles heel. I like DJ Moore a lot, but him just in terms of passing and the step that he takes from rushing almost 1,000 yards last year, or was it over 1,000 yards? I can't remember exactly what he had, but and turning that into passing yards and being able to keep yourself upright and within the pocket. So we'll see how the Chicago Bears go. Next up, NFC South. This is the worst division of football, right? Are we all in a lockstep in agreement on this one? It's Atlanta Falcons, obviously Desmond Ridder. You got Bijan Robinson, which we all like, just in terms of watching this player. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, first overall pick. New coach, Frank Reich. New Orleans Saints, I guess I'd put my money on the Saints. Their defense is legit. It's top 5 in the NFL. Their quarterback, Derek Carr. Derek Carr's in there from years and years with his beloved Raiders and his wingman over there in Devontae Adams, who just he left. But then running backs, you got Kendra Miller, Alvin Kamara, a couple other guys. I love Chris Olave. He and obviously Jets fan. Garrett Wilson was a beast last year, and he was the Rookie of the Year. I actually think Olave should have won the Rookie of the Year. It's just he was on the Saints and Garrett Wilson was on the Jets, and it's New York bias, and I'll take that any day of the week. But I do believe Chris Olave is one of those wide receivers to watch. He's fantastic. Michael Thomas coming back. We'll see how he's from injury. A couple other pieces there. Tampa, Baker Mayfield, no thank you. I got Saints. What do you guys think about this division? Quick.
I do also like the Saints. It's hard to pick against what they've done. I mean, the only thing I will say is don't completely count out the Falcons. I mean, if you remember how bad this division was last year, the Falcons almost stumbled into the playoffs off of playing some very bad football. They do have a decent defense, but I mean, in general, there's no one that's really too impressive in this division. I mean, Saints maybe have the most well-rounded team, but putting your strength on the back of Derek Carr, like he could probably take him to the playoffs, and it's probably all he's got in it. But I mean, what I'm most excited about this division, though, is I want to watch Bryce Young. I want to see what it looks like down there because they're a clear-cut team. Yep, we could go into the short quarterback debate. Obviously, that got proven last year with basically every short quarterback in the league last year having a bad season. But I want to see what they do. I want to see how good their wide receivers are for Bryce Young because they don't have the best wide receiver core in the world. Trey Mingo's out there. He's probably their number one. It's not a great wide receiving core, so I want to see how Bryce Young does, see if they make a splash in the draft to go get some more pieces next year. But it will be the Saints, but the team I'm most interested in watching is Bryce Young and the Panthers.
AJ, just quickly, do you think Bryce Young lasts the year at 5'11", 175 pounds? Like, he's never faced the caliber of pass rush that he's about to get in the NFL.
I mean, it's tough, right? But I mean, you don't know until you know. You hope, right? Just for his, longevity for his career, right? That, he can learn and stuff like that. But, we'll see. No, what I was going to say though is I could see any team really taking this division. It's like last year, right? Like you said, the Falcons almost backdooring it in and stuff like that. So it's gonna be one of those 9-8 records, 8-9 records that somehow slips in and wins like that. But I agree. I think the Saints are probably the best one at that.
Yeah. So kickoff just started. They had touchback and stupid me. The Lions are going to be taking the ball first. Football is back. Marshall on Facebook Live talking about the NFC with a few good teams: Eagles, Niners, Seahawks getting love. I do think the NFC West might be an underrated division, and I say that with we have the always ridiculous San Francisco 49ers. Their depth is unmatched. Their quarterback making $900,000 a year is the only reason that they're able to pay Bosa. And, they had a list of I think they have a top 6 guy in almost every single position in football other than their quarterback. And you look at the Seattle Seahawks, we come in and Geno Smith has a good year out of nowhere, and they have the wide receiving core, JSN and Lockett and DK Metcalf. You have running backs at the wazoo. They bring in Charbonnet to go with Kenneth Walker. Their defense has some beasts all up and down that lineup. They're a very good team. We'll see what Geno does. It's the other two teams that you look at in this division all of a sudden turns to muck. And you have the LA Rams and the Cardinals basically playing for last place. Cardinals, you don't even know who the starting quarterback is right now between Dobbs and I think it's Tune is the kid. And then Rams, they lose Cooper Kupp, one of the best wide receivers in football. They have obviously Aaron Donald, and that defense will play hard. And Stafford's not going to throw it in, and you got Tyler Higbee and a couple other pieces. The Jekyll and Hyde in this division is going to be at the forefront, but you guys think it's the Niners that are coming away with the West?
In a landslide.
Yeah. When you spend that much money the way they have, right? I think I saw something where, Nick Bosa is the highest paid, defensive end. You have obviously Christian McCaffrey, the highest paid running back. There's a laundry list of guys that were the highest paid at their position, right? When you go out and spend that much, and like you said, you have the rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant last year, as your QB, who definitely showed some promise before his injury. With the weapons that they have on offense and just that nasty defense, how can you not pick them?
Yeah.
I like the 49ers, but it is what you're saying, Billy. I like to comment on the two teams at the bottom of the division here, mainly the Cardinals, because I think the Cardinals GM is I do not understand how that man still has a job. I don't understand what they're doing at the quarterback spot. They have had Colt McCoy, who, for all intents and purposes, has been he's been an okay backup quarterback. He's not going to win a starting job anywhere, but they've had him in their system for 3 or 4 years now, and they cut him, signed Joshua Dobbs, who doesn't have a single NFL start, and they're going to roll Joshua Dobbs out week 1. What is that?
It's bad. It's bad. I don't know what the Cardinals doing. Gannon looks like he's lost as the coach already to start. Some of the quotes that come out of his mouth, you're like, "Oh yeah, do you see you're destined to fail." That it was bad. Yeah,
that was such a bad speech.
I say, is this the clearest? Is this the clearest sign of tanking that we've ever seen?
It's pretty apparent.
It's pretty close.
Definitely,
right.
But at the end of the day, so they're going to tank. So they're trading Kyler, right?
They're going to if you're going to tank, and also you have the whole thing about Caleb Williams, and we talk about football in general, but college football, Caleb Williams is going to be the Heisman. So. Yeah, he's going to be like, I'm not going to the Cardinals. What am I, stupid? Like, he'll stay in college, make another $6 million this year, and then next year choose where he wants to go. Like, that's what these players are going to have the power to do now because of the of the money situation in college football. And by the way, college football last week was crazy. Colorado, Deion Sanders, ridiculous. Put his money where his mouth is. You had a couple other big time losses. Texas A&M losing to Wyoming. College football always fun, and we'll see what happens from here on out. But lastly, the NFC East, the beast. I think all four of these teams could be in the playoffs. It's that good of a division. I know the Giants. They seem to be the ones getting a little bit of flack coming in this year, and I understand they came out of nowhere last year. Really what happened with Daniel Jones and what they expect to have this year with Darren Waller, and you got Saquon back after he signed his franchise tag. That defense plays hard. And the defensive coordinator there, and I'm blanking on his name right now, from the old Ravens guy. He is playing kind of a positionless defense. Wink Martindale. Thank you. I had remembered my brain. But Wink Martindale's taking that positionless defense where he's now bringing in guys like Isaiah Simmons for a 7th-round pick, who I liked a lot, Clemson. And he's bringing in these guys, and he's going to move them around, and he's going to make it interesting. And I think that they're this. And it's funny to say they're the sneaky team when they went to the playoffs last year, but out of this division, the Cowboys and the Eagles and Washington Commanders getting a lot of love with that defense and the quarterback, Sam Howell, a whole bunch of pieces they have on offense. I think the Giants are going to once again come out of nowhere and surprise teams, and I think they can finish second in this division.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I have the Eagles winning and taking this division, obviously, with Hurts and the weapons that he has. I'm interested to see how Swift kind of plays. And, there was some rumors, obviously, that, they might go and get Jonathan Taylor and all that stuff. So we'll see if that actually maybe comes into fruition or whatnot. But yeah, I like the Giants. I can't see the Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys are going to cowboy, as they've done, under McCarthy and stuff like that. And
they will.
I
think they're going to be the last in the division.
I'm not a big Dak guy. I think
he's going to be gone
this
too.
is for him. This is for him. This is a prove it year, I think, too.
Yeah.
Especially with all the good quarterbacks coming out of college next year, it's going to be one of those, probably one of the most competitive divisions besides the AFC East, I think.
Yeah, Marshall is a big Giants fan. He says Giants' challenge is simply their 2 rookie corners. I agree with that. O-line, no depth, but they might have the most underrated offensive tackle in the league, Andrew Thomas. I know Sam is big time on Andrew Thomas, especially during the draft, but he's come around on him. Andrew Thomas is a beast, and he's going to get paid like a beast. But Brett, go ahead.
I mean, looking at the East, I mean, it's what you said, Billy. I got 3 of these 4 teams making the playoffs. Eagles are definitely going to take the division. They're just too strong. I mean, the thing that I think you're going to see, I do think the Cowboys are going to probably be that first wild card out of the NFC. And then I think you're going to see the Giants and the Seahawks really battling it out for that. Those last 2 wild card spots. But I think they'll take it, and the Vikings will be right behind them coming at there. But I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see Sam Howell. I mean, for a rookie quarterback coming into a situation, he has one of the best wide receiver rooms you can ask for out of a rookie quarterback. He's got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. He's got great pass catching running
Logan
backs.
Thomas,
Antonio Gibson coming out of the backfield. Logan Thomas at tight end. He has. If he's going to be good, we're going to know really quickly because his wide receivers and weapons can't get much better than what he has now. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, and that defense also has the ability to be top 5, from curl to safety to their linebacker situation, and then their front 7. They're those 4 guys up front between Sweat, and I know Chase Young is going to be out for maybe a couple games, but he's still ridiculous. Their offensive line is ridiculous. So watch out for those Commanders. I mean, I think we all agree, right? Eagles are probably one of the teams in the division. Or Eagles are going to be number 1. You think the East probably produce 2 other guys. We have Detroit / Minnesota making it out of the North. I could only see maybe 2 of those teams, maybe Detroit and Minnesota make it, depending on how the East beats up on each other. The NFC South, I only think 1 team makes it, and then the NFC West, I could see 2 teams making it. We'll see how the Seahawks go, but that's roughly what we think playoff teams are going for. Go to the AFC.
Well,
we're watching right now. It's 0-0.
Real quick.
What was that?
Any NFC picks? Who's going to win the NFC?
We'll get that at the end. We're going to do that at the end. Hold off.
Okay.
AFC, so just commercial, obviously, of the game. It's 0-0 still. Both Mahomes and Goff have touched the ball. Now it's going to be Goff's turn again. AFC South, Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans. New faces. Will Levis will probably be the starter for the Titans. Yeah, second worst division. Will Levis will probably be that starter in Tennessee if after a couple weeks. I could only imagine that Tannehill doesn't last very long. Texans, C.J. Stroud under the helm. They have some turnover. Damian Pierce, we like him. Indy Colts, you got Anthony Richardson, and he's going to be running for his life. Despite being behind a good line, he's going to be running for his life because I don't think the passing game is there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville Jaguars, that's my division winner. I love Trevor Lawrence, and they have they have the enema out from Urban Meyer, and they're able to just be a real team again. I love what Doug Peterson's done. They have some good running backs, really good wide receivers. Calvin Ridley's coming after a season. He was away for the gambling incident. And their offensive line's good. Their defense has some playmakers. I have the Jaguars winning, 11 games. 11 to 12 games, taking the division pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, they have, I think, one of the easiest schedules, right, in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play, I hate to say it like this, a franchise in the Colts that's been pretty bad the past 4 or 5 since Peyton Manning. Well, since Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck.
But when you're beating up on teams like them, the Texans, the Titans, I think will still be good, but we'll see how quarterback play is right there, and if Henry can be himself. But I mean, I see the Jags running away with in this division.
Yeah, completely agree.
I agree. I mean, it's going to be the Jags. The only other team that has an outside shot is the Titans, and the only way that they have their outside shot is if Tannehill and Hopkins can recreate the A.J. Brown-Tannehill connection from years ago. But that's the only way. This offense is not good enough to succeed unless that happens. I mean, it's going to be on the back of Derrick Henry. I mean, they'll do fine. They'll beat the Colts twice. They'll beat the Texans twice, but they're going to have to try. They're going to have to put up some more points to get past the Jags. And to go on with the Colts, this might be a little off kilter, but you're going to see why teams don't want to offer a contract to a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Yeah. The Colts have been a pocket passing team forever. And, they're making the switch to running an RPO offense with a run-first quarterback. And it's not something that you can just do overnight. And I don't think they really made the necessary adjustments at the O-line position or even getting a couple blocking tight ends in there to help those RPO reads. And I think it's going to be a struggle for Anthony Richardson really early on. And you're going to see why teams don't want to completely restructure their offense to bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson. And Anthony Richardson is going to show the world how hard it is to switch from a pocket passing offense to an RPO offense.
Very good point. And obviously, him at college, he only started, I think, 16 games, 15 games. The passing acumen is not there for a kid and you're gonna see how, how much of a brain this coach is. Comes over from Philly. I'm blanking on his name again. Steichen. And we'll see what happens there. You said something about Tennessee, and I just want to quickly with DeAndre Hopkins. The guy, and there was a report that he called a bunch of teams, Cowboys, Giants, and there were 2 other teams in the report. And if I'm the Giants, how do you guys not bring Nuke Hopkins in when you literally only have Darren Waller? And I understand you want to get some new guys. You have Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, but you had a chance to bring in a vet to really help your team. And, he had to go to his fallback home, which was Tennessee. That doesn't make sense to me as a Giant. Unless he was lying.
No, I mean, when you look at that, I mean, it's definitely a cap space move. I mean, he did come over. I mean, he's been asking for a lot of money his whole career. So, I mean, the fact that he called a bunch of teams and then ended up at the Titans probably means everyone said no, so the number went down. But if you're the Giants, I don't mind not going to get him. I think what the Giants really need to go along with Darren Waller is a consistent deep ball threat to match with him, especially since you can have Saquon Barkley catching passes in the flat. Darren Waller can dominate the middle of the field. They do miss that true outside presence, but DeAndre Hopkins, he's not the man he once was. He's turned into more of a possession wide receiver working over the middle of the field, which is right where Darren Waller is. So I see your point. I don't know if it would have been a great fit, but I mean, we're going to see, because I think Darren Waller has a chance to catch over 100
He's
passes
going to be
this year,
awesome.
going back
Yep.
to his Raiders years. So keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely agree. All right, we'll turn over AFC West. Kansas City, watch them right now. Obviously, Travis Kelce's out for the game. He had the knee injury where it basically hyperextended. Seems to be no structural damage, but probably just bruising. It was tough. They weren't going to get him in today when it happened on Tuesday. Other than that, Super Bowl champions. They have the best quarterback in the game. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be a really good running back for them, 7th-round pick. You have, I love Sky Moore. I think he's going to be very good for them. They have depth all over at wide receiver. No real studs. They have Tooney and Valdez Scantling, a couple other guys. Their defense, not Chris Jones. Their stud tackle. I'm blanking on his name now. Anyways, he's sitting out for contract issues right now, but he wants to get paid. Is this their division to lose still? I think it is, but do the Chargers have a chance?
Oh, I think the Chargers have a great chance this year. But yeah, you're right. It is Chris Jones, and he is the difference maker there. You got to look up the Chiefs' pass rush numbers with Chris Jones on the field versus him off the field, and they are night and day. They cannot get to other teams' quarterbacks without him. He's what makes them elite in the sense that he makes it so that Mahomes doesn't have to put up 35 points a game. So without him, we might see the Mahomes from a few years ago where he had to put up 35 points every game because their defense wasn't good enough to carry them. So we'll see. I love the Chargers this year. Hard to think that they will do what they did last year. I mean, Herbert broke his ribs in week 2. Yeah. Keenan Allen missed almost the entire middle of the season. You got a fully healthy team. They're bringing Quentin Johnson, another weapon on offense. I love the Chargers this year. I think, to be honest, I got the Chargers winning this division, passing the Chiefs.
I like it.
And yeah, AJ?
See, I doubted the Chiefs last year. I thought they were going to be, low in that division, and I was proven wrong. So I'm not going to bet against them again.
No.
So yeah, so I think the Chiefs take it. I think the Chargers will be in that wild card spot. I'm not sleeping on the Broncos though. I think if Sean Payton can turn Mr. Unlimited around, I think they have a chance. They have the threats. They have the weapons there, and their defense is good. So I think it's a lot of it has to do with quarterback play, and if they can kind of turn that team around there.
Yeah, so I think they're 9-8. I think that they're a middle team right now. I don't think that Peyton has honest trust in Russell Wilson, and he kind of has to deal with it because the guy has a 5-year monster contract, and it's almost impossible to deal someone like that. Obviously, KC's KC. Vegas Raiders. I think they're going to be at the bottom. Fumbling around with the Rams and Cardinals for last place. I just think that coach is bad, and I like Garoppolo, and I like Devontae Adams, but they're shooting themselves in the foot over there. And then the Chargers, you had Herbert just 2 years ago, led the league in passing. He was extremely highly rated quarterback. Last year, the injury, the broken ribs, and you can't tell me that wasn't the main factor in them, not really kind of faltering. The coach is on the hot seat. Staley is. He has to make the playoffs, and he has to do make some really good moves in order to be there. They have, Khalil Mack. They have guys on this defense that could be really good. Their offense, you talked about it. I love Mike Williams. They're actually going to put him in the slot this year, which is interesting to me for a big guy like that. He's going to be wide open all over the field. Give me the Chargers as that wild card team. I think they definitely make it, and it's going to make this division fun. Next up, AFC North. I actually think this division isn't as good as it sounds, right? So, and hear me out on this a little bit. Cincinnati Bengals, I love them. Their Joe Burrow is fantastic. Their wide receiving core is second to none. Offensive line, they bring in Orlando Jones, and we just had Amon-Ra St. Brown score the first touchdown for Detroit on an end around, I think it was. So Detroit is up now 7-0 on Kansas City, 2:46 left in the first. Love Cincy. Cleveland Browns, I think that Deshaun Watson is trash, and not just talking on the human side because everyone knows about that. I want to bring this back up. I just don't think he's a good quarterback anymore. It's been two and a half,
Yep.
3 years since we saw the guy in Houston where he was leading the league in passing and in touchdowns. I love Chubb. I wish he was on a different team. I think the defense is okay. I just don't think that they're a very good team. And this is where I think that this division is going to be tough because they're going to beat the crap out of out of each other and just badly. And Pittsburgh, we'll see what Kenny Pickett is. Is he elite or can he be elite? Um, he's got some movement around the rushing ability and he can move around the pocket. He has a very good receiving core. I love George Pickens. Obviously, Deontay Johnson is going to catch a touchdown this year. Um, Defensively, TJ Watt is a beast. He's fantastic. And then Baltimore Ravens. You have Lamar coming back, gets his brand new contract. He's going to be, he's healthy now. You don't have to worry about the ankle injury, which, was shady in general. They don't have any other running game outside of that, though. And I just don't have trust in Odell Beckham. Zay Flowers is a rookie. We see how those guys can be boom or bust in their first year. I don't think Baltimore is going to be as good as you think. I really do think it's Cincinnati, and then these other teams are going to be 9-8, 8-9, middle and around 50%, 500.
I'll let Brett go.
Well, this division gives me similar vibes to what the AFC West gave off last year, but in a different aspect. I mean, yes, the hype around the AFC West last year was potentially maybe the 4 best offenses in football. Obviously, the Broncos and Raiders did not keep up their end of the bargain on that. Neither did the Chargers. But you're looking at this division, and it's still what classic AFC North. It's the defenses. You're looking at all 4 of these defenses, maybe outside the Bengals, but then the Bengals decide, well, we score points. But the other 3 teams have great defenses. I mean, outside of the Bengals winning the division, I don't think there's a clear-cut second best team in this division unless the Ravens or Lamar needs to not get hurt. Obviously, Mark Andrews already with a soft tissue injury before the season starting. I mean, you like the Ravens as the second best team, but outside of the Bengals winning this division, it would not shock me if whatever order the next 3 teams come in at would not be a surprise regardless of what it is. If the Browns were second in this division, wouldn't shock me either. The Steelers were second in the division. It wouldn't shock me. So it's what you're saying, Billy. They're going to beat each other up, but it's back to good old AFC North football. Defense is winning championships, and I'm here for it.
All right, AJ. Quickly on this division, then we're going to go to East and then get our picks.
No, I was gonna agree. Pretty much with what you both have said, right? It's the Bengals division, and then it's gonna be a close second for those 3 teams to kind of duke it out for that second spot. So, Burrow and his trio of wideouts,
Yeah. All right. Lastly, AFC East, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, Jets. Patriots stink. They're at the bottom of this division. I don't have any confidence in Mac Jones. Roger Stevenson, great running back. Wide receivers, depth is trash, honestly. And their defense is good. It always is. It's a Bill Belichick run defense. So they're going to be a little feisty, but they're still the worst. Miami Dolphins, their offensive line is not good. And, they banged Tua around last year, and he's honestly and I don't want to see it, but he's one concussion away from being done for his career. I mean, the wide receivers are great and the running back group's okay. You're looking at the wide receivers and Tua, and if that doesn't happen, they're in trouble. I know their defense is up and coming. They have some guys out there, but Jalen Ramsey's out for a little while. I just think they're number 3 in the division. It's between the Jets and the Bills, and I know I'm a homer Jet fan. I do think the Bills take it. They're going to be their division, but I really think the Jets give them a run for the money, and it's going to be fun to watch Monday night. I love Aaron Rodgers on the team. I said it before. I didn't like the price they paid to get him, and that squarely puts the pressure on him and them to win in the next 2 years. And if they don't, it's a colossal failure. And I know it's bringing relevance back to New York, but you pay that much for a first-round quarterback pick. I don't even think you pay that much for a 39-year-old quarterback who wanted out of the division. But anyways, back to the Jets. Garrett Wilson's awesome. Alan Lazard's going to be a good 2 to 3 wide receiver. We'll see what some of these other young kids do. Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, they have the running game. Their offensive line is They could be decent. They could be bad. If Mekhi Becton doesn't, shell out, their defense is top 5. I know Reed had the historical aspect, the quotes and comments. I don't know about that, but listen, I just want you to be awesome this year, right? Be good enough where you don't, that the offense doesn't have to just go out there and throw for 50 billion yards and try to win, 47, 43 games. I think they could do it. I don't think the Buffalo Bills defense is very good. They're without Von Miller for a little while. Obviously, the quarterback's ridiculous. Josh Allen should have been the pick over Sam Darnold, but that is what it is. I worry a little bit about Diggs in that situation. It's a little hazy still with what happened.
Yep.
They have Dalton Kincaid. They have Dawson Knox. Great tight ends. Very good running backs. Love James Cook. This is their division. I think the Jets are slotting right underneath that first wild card team, and it's going to be a real fun division to see what happens.
Yeah, I thought the same. I thought this is the Bills division, but you saw those cracks right from the playoffs last year with Diggs and Allen, or just Diggs in general being frustrated. I think the Jets can really make that run at this division if the offense can gel. With bringing in Rodgers and Breece Hall coming off the injury, we'll see how he does. Bringing in Cook if he can get up to speed, right? Since they acquired him during the preseason, the Jets are a really, really good team, and it's exciting. Being in the New York area, right? Hearing about all the buzz and watching Hard Knocks and all that stuff. It's awesome. I think they can, definitely make that step. But again, like I said, it just depends on how the offense gels and that offensive line. The Patriots are going to be the Patriots. They're going to be a tough team, but ultimately I think they're going to be in that, at the end of that division. And, Dolphins, I think, like you said, depends on Tua and if he can stay healthy.
All right, Brett, last little comments, and then we'll do our picks and get out of here.
Yeah, I got this division as the opposite of the North. I think, honestly, between the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills, I think any 3 of these teams can win the division. In my mind, you've seen the cracks in all the teams. If you've seen what the Jets were last year without a quarterback, you've seen what the Bills can be when Josh Allen is not 100% or Diggs isn't happy. And we've seen the Dolphins without a quarterback. And, all 3 of those teams are one injury away from losing their season, and I think it's anyone's game between the 3 of those. I like Tua with the bounce back year. Watch Waddle and Hill go crazy. It's going to be fun.
All right. I like it. All right, picks. I want to see AFC, NFC championships, and then your Super Bowl picks. So, Brett, why don't you go first? Do the honors.
Well, the NFC, it's a little less exciting, but there's just 2 clear-cut teams that are just better than everyone else, and it's going to be 49ers and Eagles in the NFC championship. That's almost
number
certain.
2. Yep.
And then looking at the AFC, this one is much harder. There's not really anyone there. There's clear-cut best in their division, but best in the conference is hard. AFC is just so much better than the NFC, but I like Chargers to make it out of there, and they're going to see probably the Jets, even though I like my Dolphins.
Chargers, Jets.
I got Chargers, Jets for the AFC championship.
I like it. All right, your Super pick.
Super Bowl pick out of that. I like the 49ers this year. They're finally going to get over the hump. They've been knocking on
Niners
the door
over
for
Chargers.
Years. Yep.
Okay. All right, AJ.
I will go same thing with NFC, right? 49ers and Eagles, but I'll have I'll do the same thing. I'll have 49ers coming out of there and playing against the winner of, I'm going to go Bengals and I'm going to go Bills. And I'm going to have the Bengals going back to the Super Bowl 1 year removed from it, with the 49ers taking it.
Okay. Sam was a jerk. He says Jets 5-12. So thanks, Sam. Your Giants, I give you, number 2 in the division. You'd go and throw that on me. So thank you, Sam. On my side, I don't want to. I have to agree with you guys. It's going to be Eagles and Niners. I think the Niners are going to come out of that. Just quick, sneaky. I could see the Seahawks maybe being in that championship game. I don't think they're going to win, but I could see it. In the East, the AFC, I got Bengals Jets. I have the Bengals advancing, and I have the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. So Bengals over Niners. So pretty good. But
Real quick, I got some trivia. Before we leave.
Trivia.
All right, so obviously with this being the 104th season of the NFL, kicking off, 30 minutes ago or so, which two current NFL teams have existed since the founding year of the NFL in 1920?
Packers, Bears.
Not the Packers.
Bears.
Not the Packers.
You are correct. You are correct with the Bears.
Oh, Cleveland.
Not Cleveland.
Browns.
Not the Browns.
Sam says Redskins.
They have moved since where they are now, but
would it be the Texans?
The Arizona Cardinals.
So
the Arizona Cardinals were then the Chicago Cardinals, and actually the Chicago Bears were originally the Decanter Staleys.
Okay, not bad. I like it. All right, Sam, you can hit the music. Guys, just 7-0 Detroit, KC, 13:49 in the second. I love football. I'm so happy it's back. We'll be on next week. We are going to, talk about which day, Monday or Thursday. I know we've gone back and forth. We'll figure it's that one. Guys, football is here. I love it. Thanks for joining. We'll see y'all next week. This is Football Primetime.